I never thought anyone at Westbrook High would stand up for me, not in a place where popularity was currency, where the halls were divided like territories, and where someone like me, quiet, invisible, a target without even trying, was easy to overlook or laugh at. I learned to walk with my eyes down, to keep my voice small, to pretend I didn't hear the comments tossed behind my back, until the day he stepped in. Evan Carter, the school's golden boy, the captain of the track team, the smile everyone trusted, the guy whose presence alone could silence an entire hallway. He wasn't supposed to notice me, much less protect me. But when the bullies backed me against a wall, he was the one who appeared like a shock of light in a place that had always felt dark. He didn't just stop them. He looked at me, really looked like I mattered. That moment should have ended there. A hero and a nobody crossing paths for the first and last time. But it didn't, because the next day he sat next to me, and the day after that, he asked how I was doing. And slowly, impossibly, the golden boy of the school became the person I trusted most. I didn't expect my chest to tighten every time he laughed. I didn't expect his voice to feel like safety. I definitely didn't expect to fall for him. But love has a way of showing up exactly where we think it never will. And sometimes in the person we were never meant to want. Before we dive into this story, one about healing, fear, small moments that change everything, and the kind of love that grows in the quiet, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because what happened between us after that first rescue will stay with you long after the final chapter. I used to think my senior year would be simple, predictable, the kind where you walk the same halls you walked for 4 years, keep the same routines, talk to the same people, and pray nothing embarrassing happens before graduation. I never expected anything extraordinary. I never expected my heart to wake up, and I definitely never expected him to be the reason. His name was Ryan Keller. Everyone at Ridgeway High knew who he was long before they ever spoke to him. The guy had a presence, not loud, not arrogant, just impossible to ignore. Tall, sandy brown hair, calm eyes the color of soft winter mornings, and a quiet confidence that made him stand out without even trying. People liked him. Teachers trusted him. No one had a reason not to. And me? I was just trying to stay invisible. My name is Noah Parker, the type of kid who sat by windows during class and wrote stories in the margins of worksheets. I wasn't unpopular, but I wasn't anyone special either. Strange how easy it is to live unnoticed when you decide it's safer to disappear. But everything shifted the morning Ryan transferred into my homeroom. I remember it too clearly. Ms. Whitman was taking attendance when the classroom door opened, and he walked in with a quiet, "Sorry, I'm new." He wasn't even trying to get attention, but like magnets, the whole room turned toward him. I looked down fast, pretending to search for something in my bag, but I could still feel him in my peripheral vision. Ms. Whitman smiled. "Welcome, Ryan. There's an open seat next to..." She scanned the room. My stomach tightened. "Noah, take that one." Of course. Fate must have a warped sense of humor. Ryan walked toward me, and for a moment the air felt heavier. He sat down slowly, placed his notebook on the desk, and turned toward me with an easy smile. "Hey," he said. I cleared my throat. "Hi. That's Noah, right?" "Yeah." My heartbeat was way too noticeable in my ears. "Cool," he said softly. "It's nice to meet you." No one had said that to me that gently in a long time. I nodded, unable to think of anything else to add. He didn't seem bothered by my awkwardness. He just looked toward the board, tapping his pencil lightly, like he was settling in. But something inside me had already unsettled. During the first half of class, I tried not to stare, tried not to notice how he listened carefully, how he wrote neatly, how he breathed slowly as if nothing in the world rushed him. I tried so hard not to notice him that I ended up noticing everything. Halfway through the period, he leaned closer to me, not too close, but close enough for my pulse to jump. "Hey," he whispered, "do you know if we need to turn that syllabus at A?" I blinked at him, trying to understand the question to the fog of nerves. Yeah," she said before the bell. "Thanks." He smiled again, and this time it wasn't casual. There was a warmth to it I couldn't decode. It was ridiculous how something so small could send electricity through me. At lunch, I sat alone at my usual table under the window, watching people move like they lived in a different universe. My universe was quiet, predictable, until a tray slid onto the table right across from mine. Ryan. He sat down casually, like we'd been doing this for years. "Hope you don't mind," he said. Mind? I was seconds from forgetting how to breathe. "And no, it's fine." He nodded. "Cool." I didn't know where to sit. Everyone already has their groups. "You could have sat with anyone," I said before I could stop myself. He looked at me, really looked, and something flickered in his eyes. "Maybe," he said softly, "but I wanted to sit here." I swear I felt that sentence in my bones. We talked, slowly at first, cautiously, like testing the temperature of new water, and then something shifted. Maybe it was the way he laughed when I told him I write stories. Maybe it was the way he admitted he hated attention, even though he always got it. Maybe it was the way he looked at the cafeteria like a battlefield he wasn't fully prepared for. Or maybe it was simply that talking to him felt natural in a way I wasn't used to. "Can I ask you something?" he said suddenly. "Sure. Why do you sit alone?" My chest tightened. "I like the quiet." He raised an eyebrow. "Or you're avoiding people." I looked at him sharply. "Why would you say that?" He shrugged, eyes soft. "Because I notice things. That shouldn't have hit the way it did. But it did." Before I could respond, the lunch bell rang. Students started moving, chairs scraping the floor. Ryan stood slowly, backpack slung over one shoulder. "See you later?" he asked. Yeah, I guess." He smiled again, that same warm, careful smile that felt like an invitation. "I'll save you a seat in math." He walked away before I could process anything. I watched him leave, wondering how a single morning could change the entire rhythm of my days. And somewhere deep inside, something told me this wasn't random. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't harmless. Because the way he looked at me, the way he chose me, it felt like the beginning of something neither of us understood yet. And in a school where people love stories more than they love truth, a look like that could change everything. I spent most of the night replaying what happened in the courtyard. Tyler's smile, the way he said my name like it wasn't something to be embarrassed of, the gentle concern in his eyes as he asked if I was okay. It felt unreal. It felt dangerous. It felt like the beginning of something I didn't understand yet. Something I wasn't sure I was allowed to want. By the next morning, I barely slept. Every inhale felt tight. Every exhale carried the weight of 100 questions I didn't know how to answer. When I got to school, everything looked the same. The brick buildings, the loud groups around the steps, the smell of cafeteria waffles drifting to the courtyard. But nothing felt the same. Because he knew. Tyler knew I liked him. And instead of laughing, he stayed. I was heading toward my locker when I heard footsteps behind me. "Hey, Mason." I froze. That voice, calm, warm, confident, was unmistakable. I turned around slowly, and there he was, Tyler Davis, the most handsome, athletic, effortlessly perfect guy in the entire school. His hair was still damp from an early basketball practice. His backpack slung over one shoulder, and he was smiling like seeing me actually meant something. I tried to speak, but the words tangled. "Hey, you okay?" he asked. I nodded, even though I wasn't. Yeah, just tired. Tyler frowned, stepping a little closer. Too close. Close enough for me to smell the faint scent of his clean soap and something like citrus. "Did something happen after I left yesterday?" I shook my head quickly. No, nothing." He studied me for a moment like he didn't believe me, but wasn't going to push. "All right, look, about yesterday." He rubbed the back of his neck, suddenly nervous. Tyler Davis, nervous. I hope I didn't cross a line. "You didn't," I said, maybe too fast. "Good," he said softly, "because I meant what I said. I'm here if you need someone." Those words did something in my chest, a warm, painful squeeze that made it hard to breathe. Students passed around us, whispering, glancing, pretending not to stare. Tyler noticed. He stepped a little closer, lowering his voice. "Let them look. I don't care." But I did. I always had. I lowered my eyes, and Tyler noticed again. Come on, he said gently. Walk with me. He didn't ask. He didn't force. He invited. So I walked beside him down the hallway, feeling like I was carrying a secret I didn't know how to hide and didn't know how to reveal either. We stopped by his locker, and he leaned against it, arms crossed, looking at me like I was the only person in the hallway. So, I was thinking, he said casually, we should hang out after school. I nearly dropped my books. Hang out? Like the two of us? Yeah. He smiled. Unless you don't want to. No. I mean, I do. I do want to. I swallowed. I just didn't expect it. He shrugged. Why not? Because you're you and I'm me. But I didn't say it out loud. Before I could answer, he added, I like talking to you, and I want to know more about you. It wasn't flirtatious. It wasn't dramatic. It was sincere, painfully sincere. His friends, the basketball guys, appeared at the end of the hall, loud, joking, already calling his name. Tyler stiffened, just barely. Then he exhaled and turned back to me. I have to go, he said, but after last period, meet me behind the gym? Okay. He took one step backward, hesitating. And Mason? Yeah. His voice softened. I'm glad you didn't lie to me yesterday. My heartbeat stuttered. Really? Really? Then he walked away toward his friends, who stared at me like I had no business being near him, and I watched him disappear into their group. But he didn't blend in, even surrounded by them. He kept glancing back at me. The rest of the day felt like forever. I couldn't think straight in class. I kept tapping my pen, rereading the same sentence over and over, feeling my pulse speed up every time someone said Tyler's name in the hallway. Was this real? Was I imagining everything? Was he just being nice? When the final bell rang, my stomach twisted. I went behind the gym, palms sweaty, heart racing. The air smelled like grass and chalk, dust from track practice. The bleachers cast long shadows across the yard. He was already there, sitting on the bench, hoodie pulled halfway up, bouncing a basketball lightly with one hand. When he saw me, he smiled, that soft, warm smile that made everything inside me melt in panic at the same time. You came. Of course I did. He motioned for me to sit next to him. I sat slowly, trying to stay calm, trying not to let my legs shake like it wanted to. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The silence wasn't awkward. It was charged. Then Tyler exhaled heavily. Okay, I'm just going to say this. My heart stopped. I don't know what I'm doing, he said. When I'm around you, I feel, he hesitated. I feel comfortable and curious and different. Different. The word echoed through me. But, he continued, running his fingers through his hair, I don't know what this means. I don't know what it says about me. You don't have to decide anything right now, I said softly. I know. He looked straight into my eyes. That's why I want to figure out with you. My breath caught. He wasn't playing. He wasn't teasing. He wasn't pretending. Everything in his voice, the softness, the tension, the fear, was real. Tyler, I whispered, struggling to find words. He leaned in just slightly, just enough for my whole body to feel it. I want to try, he said, voice barely above a whisper. I want to know what this is. I felt lightheaded. The world felt too bright, too loud, too fragile. But before I could answer, before anything could happen, a sharp whistle echoed from behind the field. Tyler flinched. Coach, he muttered. He'll kill me if I'm late. He stood slowly, eyes locked on mine. This isn't over, he said softly. Meet me here tomorrow? Yes. I breathed. He smiled, shy, nervous, hopeful, then jogged toward the gym, glancing back at me one last time. And I sat there on the bench, heart racing, realizing something terrifying. Tyler wasn't running away from whatever this was. He was running toward it, toward me, and I had no idea where this would lead or how badly it might break us both. The next few days felt strange in a way I couldn't fully describe. Not bad, not wrong, just new. Like my life had shifted half an inch to the left, and I was still trying to walk straight. Every time I passed Tyler in the hallway, something inside me tightened, as if I had to relearn how to breathe in his presence. He didn't avoid me. He didn't stare either. He did something worse. He noticed me. Little glances when he thought I wasn't looking. Small smiles that felt too warm to be accidental. Moments where the space between us felt thinner than air. It was terrifying and addictive. By Wednesday, the tension felt like a secret language only we understood. Not a single word exchanged. Yet the silence held more truth than anything I could have said out loud. That afternoon, right after math class, he did something that caught me completely off guard. He walked straight to my desk before anyone could leave. "You heading to lunch?" he asked, casually leaning on the edge of the table. I blinked. Yeah. "Want to meet me outside?" he asked. "Behind the gym." My heart stumbled. Behind the gym was a place where you only went if you wanted privacy, if you wanted quiet, if you wanted something no one else could see. "Sure," I said, try not to sound like my chest was on fire. He nodded once and walked away, leaving every pair of eyes in the room glued to me like I had just won the lottery. It took everything I had not a sprint. When I reached the back of the gym, Tyler was already there, hands in his pockets, leaning against the wall, sunlight catching the edges of his hair like a spotlight. He straightened when he saw me. "Hey," he said. "Hey." For a moment, neither of us moved. The wind carried the faint sound of the marching band, practicing somewhere across the field. It gave the moment a strange cinematic feeling, like this was a part of a movie where two characters finally confronted their truth. "So," Tyler said, pushing off the wall, "you been quiet." I scoffed softly, says the guy who barely talks to anyone. He smirked. "Fair enough." Then his expression softened. "But you've been quiet with me." I froze. "I didn't think you noticed." "I notice a lot more than people think," he said. There was again that shift, that intensity behind his voice that made the air feel heavier. I tucked my hands into my hoodie pocket, trying to hide the tremor in them. "What did you want to talk about?" I asked. He took a step closer, not enough to alarm me, just enough to make the moment undeniable. "That day in the hallway," he began, "when those seniors made fun of you and you left, I shouldn't have let you walk away alone." I swallowed. "It's fine. I'm used to—" "No," he cut in gently. "It's not fine." His gaze held mine, steady and unflinching. "And I'm tired of pretending I didn't feel something when I saw you crying." My breath caught. "Tyler," he rubbed the back of his neck, clearly embarrassed. "I know you think I don't get it, but I do, more than anyone knows." His eyes lowered. He was nervous. Tyler, the confident, athletic, carefree guy, nervous. "I've been trying to figure something out," he admitted. "Something about you, about me, about that day." The wind picked up slightly, brushing his hair across his forehead. He didn't seem to care. His whole focus was on me. "What are you trying to figure out?" I whispered. He took a slow breath. "Why it bothered me so much." "Why what bothered you?" "When they were laughing at you," he said. "When you left. When you were hurting. I don't know why it hit me like that. I didn't speak. I didn't move. I just watched him unravel one thread at a time." "And why?" he added quietly. "I keep thinking about you." The world tilted. Not metaphorically, physically. I felt the ground sway like I was standing on the deck of a boat. "You keep thinking about me?" I repeated, barely audible. He nodded once, jaw tight as if he was bracing himself for something painful. "Yeah, and I don't understand it. It scares me. It confuses me. And it won't stop." My heart was a wild drum, every beat louder, every breath shorter. I tried to find words, any words, but they refused to form. Tyler stepped closer, close enough for our shoes to almost touch. "Am I ruining your life?" he whispered. "Because I feel like I'm messing everything up." "You're not," I said quickly. Too quickly. His shoulders eased, slightly at the honesty slipping out before I could control it. "Good," he whispered, "because you're messing up mine." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He shook his head, frustrated with himself. "I don't know. I'm not supposed to think about you like this. People expect me to be someone I'm not. And being around you, it makes me feel something I can't explain. Tyler. I whispered, I don't want to make your life harder. He stepped closer again, so close I could feel the warmth of his breath. You didn't, he said. You made it confusing and real, and I don't hate it. A quiet, trembling moment passed between us. Then he said softly, I've never felt this way before. The confession hung between us like oxygen and fire. Without thinking, Tyler reached for my hand. Not fully, not boldly, but enough that his fingers brushed mine. Enough to make my whole body light up. But before anything else could happen, the gym door slammed open. A group of athletes spilled out, laughing loudly. Tyler jerked his hand away like he'd been burned. His entire body tensed. His face snapped back into his mask. Tyler, one of the guys called. Coach wants you in the locker room. He nodded quickly, not looking at me. I gotta go, he muttered. Tyler. He backed away, expression torn. Later, he whispered, please. And then he ran. Not walked, ran, leaving me standing behind the gym with a heart that felt too full to carry, and the terrifying realization that he wasn't confused. He was falling, and neither of us knew how to survive what was coming. I don't think I'll ever forget the silence that fell between us after that moment in the hallway. The kind of silence that isn't empty, but full of everything we had said, full of everything we hadn't, and full of everything neither of us knew how to face. After school, the campus felt strangely brighter, like the sun had decided to show up just to mock the chaos inside my chest. Students spilled out of classrooms laughing, shouting, running toward buses and cars. But all that noise blurred into a distant hum, because my mind was replaying every second of my conversation with Tyler. I still wasn't used to saying it, even inside my own head. Tyler likes me. Tyler wants me. Tyler cares. And I cared too, more than I wanted to admit, more than I thought I ever would. But caring felt complicated now. I walked toward the courtyard, needing air, needing space to breathe. My footsteps echoed softly, mixing with the chatter of the after-school crowd. The big oak tree in the center yard offered a bit of shade, and for a moment, I let myself lean against it, eyes closed. That's when I heard footsteps rush toward me. Hey, there you are. I opened my eyes and turned. Tyler stood a few feet away, hair messy from gym class, shirt slightly wrinkled, backpack hanging off one shoulder like he'd sprinted across campus. He looked nervous, excited, something in between, and something inside me tightened. You left fast after class, he said, breathing slightly hard. I thought maybe you were avoiding me. I shook my head. I just needed a minute. He stepped closer. Are we okay? The softness in his voice made my chest ache. Yeah, I think so. Everything's a lot right now. Tyler nodded, understanding flickering across his eyes. I know it is, but I meant what I said. All of it. I swallowed. I know. His shoulders loosened a little. Good, because I don't want this to be something you doubt. We stood there quietly, the breeze brushing fallen leaves across the courtyard ground. I kept expecting someone to walk by, someone to stare, someone to whisper, but nobody came. It was just us, for once, without an audience. You always look like you're running away, Tyler said quietly. I'm not. You are, he insisted gently. You run every time you feel too much. I flinched. It's not that simple. Maybe it is, he countered. Maybe you just don't want to get hurt. And I get that. But I'm not here to hurt you. My throat tightened. Tyler, he stepped closer. Too close. Close enough that I felt the heat of him, the scent of soap and sun on his skin. I like you, he said, voice barely above a whisper. And I'm not ashamed of that. Not anymore. I looked up at him. Why are you saying all this now? A small, almost shy smile touched his lips. Because today, when you finally looked at me like you weren't afraid, I felt hopeful. I blinked hard, heart pounding. Tyler, and because he added, taking a breath, I want to try. Us. Whatever this could be. His words struck deep, soft, honest, terrifying. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to step closer. I wanted to let myself fall into whatever future he was imagining, but the fear wasn't small. It wasn't simple. It wasn't something I could ignore. What if this ruins everything? I whispered. He frowned. Ruins what? Our friendship, your reputation, the football team. People talk, Tyler. They talk fast. I don't care what they say. You will, I said quietly. You think you won't, but you will. Tyler looked at me with a mix of frustration and hurt. Why can't you believe that I'm choosing this? Because you don't understand what this choice costs, I whispered back. Not yet. He stepped away slowly, running a hand through his hair. So that's it? You're pushing me away again. I'm trying to protect us. He laughed softly, a sad, broken sound. Funny, it feels like you're trying to protect everyone except me. My chest cracked. I'm sorry, I said, voice cracking. His shoulders dropped. Stop apologizing. Just talk to me. Tell me what you want. I sucked in a trembling breath. I want you, I said, but I don't want to be the reason your life gets torn apart. Tyler stared at me, stunned, like he wasn't expecting me to be that honest. His jaw tightened. He stepped closer again, slowly, carefully. My life is already torn apart, he said quietly. But at least being close to you makes the pieces hurt less. My heart nearly collapsed. Unthinking, I reached out. I didn't even know what I planned to do. Touch his arm? Hold his hand? Something small, something hopeful. But before my fingers reached him, a voice echoed from behind us. Tyler, dude, seriously? We both jumped. Jason, one of the guys from the football team, stood near the entrance of the courtyard, looking between the two of us with narrowed eyes. Tyler stiffened instantly. I've been looking everywhere for you, Jason continued, suspicion sharpening his tone. What's going on? Tyler stepped back from me, so quickly it felt like a cold slap. Nothing, he said, voice suddenly flat. I'll be there in a second. Jason stared at me for another long moment, eyes sharp, judgmental, before turning and heading back toward the parking lot. Tyler turned back to me, guilt clouding his eyes. I'm sorry, he whispered. It's okay, I said automatically. It's not, he insisted. Just wait for me. I'll text you. Tonight. I promise. I nodded, even though the weight gathering in my chest told me that everything had just gotten more complicated. He walked away slowly, giving me one last look over his shoulder, a look full of hope, fear, and something dangerously close to love. When he disappeared behind the gym building, I let out a shaky breath, and standing there alone in the fading afternoon light, I realized something. The closer Tyler and I got, the more the world around us pushed back. And soon, something was going to break. I didn't sleep the night before. I don't think I could have slept even if someone had paid me to. My chest wouldn't calm down, my thoughts wouldn't slow, and every time I closed my eyes, all I saw was his face. Tyler, the one person I spent my whole life thinking I'd never deserve, never reach, never even get close enough to breathe the same air. And now, everything was hanging by a thread. The rumors, the fight behind the gym, his panic, my fear, and the unspoken truth between us, stretching so tight it finally had to snap. By morning, I was exhausted, but something inside me felt strangely steady, like the storm had already destroyed everything it could, and now it was time to rebuild, or walk away, or fall apart. When I walked into the school courtyard, I saw him instantly. Tyler wasn't with his friends, not laughing, not practicing with the track team. He stood alone under the oak tree, staring at the ground like it was the only thing holding him upright. My heart clenched. He looked lost, and in that moment, I finally understood I wasn't the only one hurting. I approached slowly, my footsteps crunching on the gravel. He lifted his head at the sound. When his eyes met mine, something inside me loosened, like I had been holding my breath for days. Hey, he said softly. Hey, I whispered. He swallowed hard, his jaw tight. Thanks for coming. I was always going to, I said. He let out a shaky breath and nodded. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The morning sun warmed the cold air, and students passed around us without noticing the gravity of what was happening right here, right now. Finally, Tyler said, "I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear me." I nodded, bracing myself. He looked straight into my eyes, his voice unsteady but determined. "I'm not who people think I am. Not the perfect athlete. Not the guy with everything figured out. Not the straight hero everyone wants me to be. I tried to be that guy because it was easy, because it made everyone proud." He took a shaky breath. "But you ruined that for me." My heart dropped until he added, "And I'm grateful you did." I blinked fast, my chest tightening. "Tyler, you made me feel something real," he said. "Something I didn't ask for, didn't expect, didn't even know I could feel. And when people started talking, I panicked. Not because I don't feel it, but because I do." I stepped closer. "Then why did you push me away?" His voice cracked. "Because I was scared I was going to ruin your life. Because I didn't know how to protect you. Because everything felt too big too fast." Silence stretched between us again, but this time it wasn't painful. It was raw, honest, necessary. "Tyler," I whispered, "you didn't ruin anything. You just made me see the truth earlier than you did." He blinked, confused. "What truth?" "That I care about you," I said. "That I've cared for a long time. And that whatever we're feeling, it's not something we can just pretend didn't happen." His breath hitched. The wind rustled through the tree above us, and a few golden leaves drifted down between us. Tyler looked at them, then at me, then stepped forward until his forehead almost touched mine. "You make me feel like I can breathe," he said quietly. "And I haven't felt that way in a really long time." My chest tightened so, painfully it almost felt like relief. "But," he whispered, my heart froze. "There's something I need to do first." I swallowed. "What?" He looked down, his voice barely audible. "I need to stop living for everyone else. I need to stop hiding behind what people expect. I need to figure out who I am when I'm not pretending." I nodded, even though the words cut deeply. "I understand." He looked up again, eyes shining. "I don't want to lose you. I'm not choosing between you and the world. I'm choosing me first, because that's the only way I'll ever be ready to choose you, fully, honestly, without fear." My throat tightened painfully. "So what does that mean for us?" He reached out, gently taking my hand in his. Warm, real, shaking. "It means this isn't goodbye," he said. "It's a promise." His voice trembled. "I'm going to become someone who deserves you. Someone who isn't scared of himself. Someone who can hold your hand in the hallway without looking over his shoulder." A tear slipped down my cheek before I could stop it. Tyler wiped it gently with his thumb. "I'm not walking away," he said. "I'm walking toward the version of myself you helped me discover." I let out a shaking breath. "Tyler," he leaned forward and rested his forehead against mine. Soft, warm, heartbreaking. "I love what I feel when I'm with you," he whispered. "And I want to earn the right to feel without fear." My voice cracked into the air between us. "I'll wait for you." He smiled, small, fragile, hopeful. "And I'll come back for you." The bell rang in the distance, and students flooded the courtyard. Loud, chaotic, unaware of the promise carved into the air. Tyler squeezed my hand one last time, and then gently let it go. He walked away slowly, every step heavy, every step necessary. I watched him disappear into the crowd, my chest aching. But for the first time, the pain felt like hope,